Hi, I'm Rowan, and today we're going to do the next video, probably number 2 in the Vroid Studio how-to video series. This is Trudy, and if you saw the other video, you'll notice we did some things with her hair already, and we were working with body proportions. There's a minor quick aside about head proportions. In that video, we didn't do anything with her head. We're going to do something really quick with that. So let's go to full screen so you can see what we're doing. Right now, her head is at a proportion that we kind of like. And we talked about femme height and masculine height and body size. We didn't talk about head size. You see that we have this at a negative 0.54 for the head size, and the head width is at a full -1, and we've done some stuff with head tip. What does all that mean? Well, okay, so let's talk about the head size first. First, we're going to copy this. And we're going to set that to 0, and you're going to see, oop, that's a 9. That's not a 0. There we go. That is a huge head. Okay, that is ginormous. We've already done stuff with her shoulders to get them just a little wider than the default, because I don't understand why it is, but the shoulders are almost non-existent on these Vroids. Arm, chest, shoulder width. There we go. See, we got that at a 0.643. It was set to a 0-ish. And you can see as we widen things out that she starts getting to have shoulders. Now, what's so important about having shoulders? Well, obviously, they offset the size of your big fat noggin, right? And she's got a really big noggin right now. Which method is it? It's one of the standard figure drawing methods. You're supposed to basically be able to have 3 heads on your shoulders. So 1 head in the middle, 2 on the sides, for an adult head. Well, what happens if we make her head small enough to do this? Well, right now her head width has actually been adjusted. So here, this is even uglier. This is kind of close to default, right? You can get 1 1/4 head maybe. So we're going to shrink her head down to -1. And then we're going to take her head size and we're going to shrink it down until we get to that number we liked. Now, this is not classic proportions. This is something we like. You can get about 2 heads, maybe 2.5 heads here if you discount her ears and her big hair between her shoulders. That's what we're going to use. That's because we kind of like that. Even though I think my noggin's a little wider than that, but it's fine. I'm cute anyway, so there. What we really want to do today, now that we're done with talking about the very basics of shrinking heads, is skin color. So let's actually get to what we came here for. This is the default in Vroid Studio. It's really pasty. You can make marshmallow people very well with this, but we are making a copy of Trudy, and Trudy in the comic has got a definite color. Now, we're going to show you that, yes, we've already done her color. That's okay. We'll get to there again. And if you take a sample of her color here in Clip Studio Paint, you can tell over here that she has a hue of 30, a saturation of 36, and a value of 83. We need to recreate that on Trudy's skin. Now, if we go over to Vroid Studio and we edit the texture, we have a color wheel and we have hexadecimal color selection here. We don't have much color calibration between other sources in here. So let's export her skin based PNG. Okay, we've already exported it. We're going to export it again. And yes, there we go. We just overwrote that. Then we're going to tab over to Clip Studio Paint, and we are going to go to their skin. And you're going to see that we have a bunch of stuff already done in here. Let's turn these layers off. We've done this multiple times, and you can see that we have this really pasty skin color. And if we come up here and take a sample there, you can see that it's 28, 11, and 98, which is totally not her skin, which is 30, 36, and 83. We have to make this skin color match. And the way we do that is we use a hue, saturation, and luminosity layer and a brightness and contrast layer. Now, there's going to be a little bit of banding that's going to show up. And it's hard to tell in here, but there is banding here already. I know. It's like, don't trust your eyes. Trust me when I tell you that there is banding here. You're just not seeing it. Let's come back over to here. Let's come in and zoom in on her arm here. I know, but it's there. There's banding there. It's very hard to tell because she has very pasty, almost white alabaster skin going on here. But it's there, and we're going to try to not have it become accentuated while we're doing stuff. So let's go back over to Clip Studio Paint and turn on these layers. Well, we could turn them on, or we could just make new ones. Let's make new layers. This is going to be kind of long, but here we go. We're going to create a new layer, and it's going to be a correction layer, and it's going to be a brightness and contrast. And we're going to hit OK. We'll bring it down close here. Then we're going to create another layer. It's another correction layer, and that's going to be hue, saturation, and luminosity. Now, we've done this a few times, so we kind of know what we want to do. First, we want to reduce the brightness down to a -42. Why? Because that thing was just too blown out to begin with. And then we want to go to our hue, saturation, and luminosity. And we kind of have ballparks here. I think it was like a 3, and then a saturation was like a -18, something like that, and luminosity of -19. I don't know. Those are just throwing numbers out, right? What we want to do now is, while we're over here, we've got the leftmost color selector. We're going to do an eyedropper. We have 31, 11, 73. We want to get to 30, 36, 83. So what we need to do is go into our hue and realize that that's a 3 currently. We want to get our hue to 30, and we're at 31. We're very close on that. So let's come back into here, take that to a 2, and then select 29. You see how that 1 point of difference has done something really stupid? It's gone twice as far. 36 on the saturation versus 11 on the saturation. We need to up our saturation. So let's take this to like a -10, just as a ballpark guess. And what do we have? 12% as opposed to a 36. Okay, let's take that to a +10. Okay, and then get our eyedropper on it, 23 to 36, and then let's take that up again. And yes, we're really doing it here. We're not just talking about it. So let's take that to a 20 and then select it again, and we're at 31 out of 36. And okay, so we want that to be up a little bit more. And so now let's take that to a 30 and see what happens. We're way too saturated here, so we don't want to be at 30. Why didn't we just put the number in? Because they don't work. They're not accurate that way. So 24 maybe, and we're going to check our saturation again. 34 to 36. We are so close. Our hue is off now, so let's mess with our hue and push that to a 3. And then what do we got? 31, 34 out of 30, 36. Okay, and now we are also going to go and play with our value. Our value is currently an 89. We want it to be an 83. You would think that would mean that we subtract 4 from here, right? -14. Hit OK, and what do we get? 85 out of 89. What? Okay, so now we want to add stuff to there. So -12? Oh, not 112. -12. And what do we get here? 87 out of 85. So -13 maybe. 13, okay, and that takes us to an 85. 85, look at that. Are those accurate? Is that where we started? Let's go back to our illustration and get another sample from next to our cheek. 83. Oh, looks like we might have polluted our sample there. Let's come back over to where we're working and double check. Yeah, that's at an 85. We want to knock that down a couple. Okay. 84. Oh, I messed with saturation instead. Let's see. 36, 83. And we are at 33, 84. Let's lower the value of the brightness by 1, and then 31, 33, 84. We're close. We want to knock our value down 1 on the brightness. 31, 36, 83. Okay, let's knock down the opacity by a few, see what happens. 30, 36, 84 on the value. Well, okay, so let's take our opacity back up 1. 30, 36, 84 on the value. Okay, let's go up here and knock our luminosity down to -18 and see what we just did. 31, 36, 82. Okay, why did our hue shift? $30, 36, 82. We just need our value to come up 1. pop that up once, see what happens. Huh. Take it to full opacity. Okay, let's just do something radical here. 94. Okay, so now our hue is off. 30, 36, 83 is what we want. Can we adjust our hue by 1? 31. Okay, what if we set the opacity down 1? 30, 36, 83. 30, 36, 83. Voila, we've got it matching. There's some banding, but it was there to begin with. I swear it's just one of those things. One of these days, Alice. Bang zoom, no more banding. Alright, so now we're going to go to File, and we're going to Save As, Skin Final PNG, and hit Save and overwrite the one we already made. And we're also going to Save As, and save it as a Clip Studio. Oh well, we're not going to do it that way. So here's the point. We just spent a bunch of time dealing with banding, which you're probably not even going to see on your model. We've already saved it. We're going to come over to Vroid Studio, the other studio, and we're going to import Skin Final PNG. And voila. See, you can tell there's banding here. You can tell if you zoom in real close. But at a normal size, you're not going to tell. So now we do this all over again with the skin. Luckily, we have stuff here, these two layers. We're just going to copy them. Once I get to there we are. We're going to copy them, and we're going to go to our Face Skin Final. Our Face Skin Final PNG. Okay. And then, you see, we already did that once before, but we're going to paste them in here. And 30, 36, 83 is our target, and that's the same there. We're going to hit the eyedropper right there, and you see it's the same. Click over here just to verify, but 30, 36, 83. There is some minor amount of banding here also, but we don't care at this point. We just don't, because it's not going to show up. And we're going to save this, and we're going to save a copy of this. Well, we're going to save it as a Clip Studio file also. That way, these layers are available later when we need them. Then let's go back over to Vroid Studio and close this, tell it to overwrite. Okay, and now we're going to go to the face. Let's go into Skin, and let's edit the texture, and let's import the Face Skin Final.png. Open that, and there we go. So, as a final check, we're going to take a screenshot here. There we go. And we're going to bring it over to, not Vroid Studio, we're going to bring it over to Clip Studio Paint. We're going to open up our original illustration. If I can get to it, there it is. I have multiple monitors, and my actual artwork is on the left monitor. And of course, it's being presented in OBS, so doing my work in OBS. And of course, that means that when I go to look at stuff, sometimes I'm on a different screen altogether. So let's get you moved over, and well, scale you up. This one here. It may be a little bit more chunky than the other one, but that's fine. Look here. Eyedropper here, 30, 36, 83. Now, this might be a little darker, but nope, it's the same. Here we are. And of course, if you zoom in really close on our armpit, you can see that we have some banding, which you'll never see as you're actually using your Vroid. All right, so that's how you do it. This is how you color match between a source image and the image you're working on. Now you'll note that the highlight, the shadow color is kind of red in Vroid Studio. That's because that's actually a smart thing to do, which we didn't do on our comic because we're being simple. Having a little red base puts some life into your skin. That's something I learned from Mark Burnett. He's still putting videos up, by the way, so if you're interested in more artsy stuff and how to make figures that actually look very alive using digital art, check out his stuff. But yes, definitely they're using a red tone for the shadowy colors, and that creates a bit of a more vivid tone to the skin. But other than that, we have matched skin color. The hair color, that's another video, which we'll be getting into after this one. That will definitely be video number 3 of the series, where we deal with all the intricacies of trying to make a person with swept back hair in a program that really favors people with bangs. So here we are at the end of our video. We have Trudy with matching skin tone to Trudy from the original Bee Police comic. We'll be working with her hair in the next installment of this video series, and maybe we'll make her have her swoopy hair, or we'll continue with her post-pointy ear, bangless, swept back hair. And in either case, we'll have some fun with that, because honestly, they should have made the hair editor a completely separate application from the Vroid Studio app, because it is absolutely intricate. It is by far the thing that makes people go crazy. Now, there are other people who have put up videos on making hair, and they do make it seem very simple. But honestly, what I've found is that the more accurate to something you want to make your hair, the more hairs you need to use, the more detail you need to put into it. And of course, I'm getting into more detail than I need to right now anyway, and we will do that in the next video. So until then, I hope that wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever time it is, you're having a great time. And I do hope to see you again real soon. So until next time, bye!